Hi everyone, welcome to the third and final video for just basic surface area, and today that means we're going to talk about cones and cylinders. So here I have already some nets. So we've got a net of a cone, so if I fold that up that makes our cone right here. So you'll see it's kind of almost like this arc triangle shape and then a circle, that's our base, right? And then we have our cylinder net, which is two bases, and then the lateral area. So this is really easy to see how when this is 2D, when we unfold this, a cylinder's surface area is made up of two circles and a rectangle, and that's always true for cylinders. So you'll see if we were to fold this up and fold our two bases down, that gives us our cylinder. Not perfect, but you get the idea. Okay, so for formulas, let's zoom into our cylinders and cones, very similar. For the cylinder, we have two bases and lateral area, just like our prisms. So remember, the area of a circle is pi r squared. This time, now it's still the same as before. It's still the perimeter of the base times the height of the prism. But now we call it circumference because it's a circle. But it's the same idea. It's still the perimeter. Our cone is a very similar formula, but this time there's only one base, so you don't multiply it by 2. And then this time there's a special formula we use for that lateral area. So it's just pi r and then the slant height. That essentially gives us the height with the circumference. But remember, it's a cone, so it's a fraction of that cylinder surface area. So that's why it's just pi r slant height. Okay, let's move these off to the side and get started. We've got a cylinder and cone to start. And a cylinder is our first one. So if it's a cylinder, we have two bases. That's our two circles right here. Okay, so we've got two bases. And then to that, we're going to add our lateral area. Okay, and let me get my pen, we'll get started. So our two bases are circles, so that's 2 times pi r squared. Okay. And the radius here is just 1, so that makes it really easy. It's just 1 pi, because 1 squared is 1, so it's just 1 pi. And if we multiply these, that's just 2 pi. Our answers are going to be rounded later, but I'm just going to leave this as 2 pi for now. And then our lateral area is the circumference of that cylinder, or the perimeter, which is 2 pi r, and then times the height of that cylinder. So the height of the cylinder. Okay, so 2 pi r, that's 2 times pi times 1, and then the height of the cylinder is 5. So this is just 2 pi times 5, that's 10 pi. If I were to add these, that gives me 12 pi, and then I'm going to round it, so I've got my approximate to equal sign. So 12 times pi, and using my pi button, so notice I actually used pi, so I'll get the closest to the correct answer possible, and I'm rounding it to the nearest hundredths place. So I've got 37 point, oh, and this time, since we're rounding it to the hundredths, it's going to be 70 kilometers squared. So this is our rounded answer. All right, let's try with a cone. So this time we only have one base. So let me write just one base. Okay, that's the circle right here. And we need to add that to the lateral area. Okay, so let's find our one base first. This time the radius is 2, so this is pi r squared, and we're going to substitute 2 in for r. 2 squared, so this is 4 pi. Okay, and then my lateral area, here's the tricky one. So it's pi r slant height. So pi r slant height. So pi and r, that's pi and 2. And then my slant height is this length right here. So notice it's not the height of the cone. That would be this right here. That would be this dotted line. It's the length along the edge of the cone. So all along here. That's the slant height. So that's 11.2 in this problem. Okay, so I just need to multiply these. So 2 times 11.2. That's 22.4 pi. Okay, so I'm going to add these two together. Times pi plus 4 pi Okay, and my total answer is 82.94, and it is feet squared this time. Again, we're rounding to the nearest hundredth if we can. All right, next cone we have here. Zoom out a little. I've got my base right here on the circle. Okay, so just one base. And as always, since we're doing surface area, we need to find the lateral area. If I were to color that, that's this whole space right here. So lateral area. And we know we're going to add them. Okay, let's do our base first. Pi r squared. Pi times 8 squared. Okay, so that's 64 pi plus. And then my lateral area is pi r slant height. So pi 8 and then 17.9. Okay, let's multiply those together. 17.9 times 8 is 143.2 pi. And then I'm going to add these two values together. I'll show you how I'm going to do that in my calculator. So I'm going to multiply this by pi, so times pi. And then I'm going to add it to 64 pi. So plus 64 pi. So my total is 650.94. This time it is yards squared. Okay, the last one is a cylinder again. This one's on its side. So let's remind ourselves the two bases are these circles right here and right here. Okay, two base and our lateral area. I'm not going to color that one. Let's zoom out just a little. All right, so for our two bases, don't forget that times by 2. We've got pi r squared. Our r is 6 this time. So squared. And then we're going to add, I'm going to do this all in one step. And then we've got our cylinder of our base. So that's 2 pi r. 2 pi r. And then times the height of the cylinder. Now, even though this direction goes this way, if I were to actually sit this on its base, so if I were to like bring this down and sit it like this, then we would see the height is 3. So we're going to put a 3 right here. All right, let's calculate these numbers. So on the left, the two bases, I've got 36 times 2 pi, and I'm just going to write the number. So 226.19 plus, and I already rounded it, so it doesn't have pi. On the right side, I have 2 times 6 times 3 pi. So I've got 113.10, and then I'm going to add these two together, plus 226.19. Okay, my total answer, 339.29 meters squared. Okay, so there's the surface area of that last cylinder. Okay, thank you so much for watching, guys, and that concludes our 3 videos for basic surface area. See you next time.